let's start with what took place yesterday. Did you find that Mitch McConnell stuff?
There wasn't anything on Fox, but we did find him at the press conference on Tuesday making similar comments.
Okay. So here's the deal in terms of, in terms of impeachment. There's no way the House is not going to impeach Donald Trump at this point. It is impossible to imagine. And the Republicans know it. They know that Donald Trump has been caught dead to rights. The only questions at this point, the only material questions are, how many articles of impeachment will he be charged with? From what's going on with the Ukraine situation, in and of itself, there's probably a couple of articles of impeachment there. Abuse of power, arguably emoluments, arguably, election law, and bribery. And then you could also throw in obstruction insofar as you've had multiple members of the executive branch not come in and testify, refuse to, attempts to prevent other witnesses from testifying. And then the question also becomes, do they start looking into emoluments? There's plenty of examples where he has broken the emoluments clause or contravened it. Then do you also look in obstruction that has taken place over the course of not just the Mueller investigation, but in other oversight functions of the House? And then the only other question that remains after that is, like, when are they going to do this? Right now they're talking about going public with the witnesses in November. But we shall see. The only response we have seen from Republicans is not to refute Bill Taylor, not to refute the Pentagon witness yesterday as to the implications of withholding that aid and how it was done. It is to complain about the process in an incredibly disingenuous way, in a way that is perfect for Fox News. Here is a mob of well-suited Republican congressmen, 13 of whom have the absolute right to go into that room without doing these theatrics. 13 of them are on committees that allow them to be in the skiff. This is the room in Congress where they have hearings if they want it to be completely secure, and they do it in these rooms. You're not supposed to bring recording devices in. Of course, these Republicans did. You're not supposed to go in there. Darrell Issa was actually not frog marched, but he was escorted out of that room during the Benghazi hearings because he wasn't part of them. He wanted to be, but he wasn't. And I'm telling you, it was a Republican, Trey Gowdy, had him taken out because he wasn't a member of the committee.
So his friend.
Nothing that the Democrats have done at this point to this point is in any way out of the norm for the way you would handle any investigation. Benghazi was handled this way, others. This is the way you do it. But they need to try and delegitimize this whole process now because they know on the facts Trump is toast. Here's that clip.
With Steve King.
Steve King, of course.
I want to get involved in that.
Was that Jody Ernst?
So there you have it. And here's Matt Gaetz, who was the ringleader of this. You know, he went on and made these complaints like a week or two ago, and he got enough press attention that he figured, oh, this is working. Now, but understand what the strategy is here. This is for consumption by Fox News and by right-wing media, so that, and remember, we live in a world now where it used to be where the right-wing media would try and get their narrative into the mainstream bloodstream of the news. Now they don't do that. They don't have to, because we have two parallel narratives. and they just need something to talk about, and this is what they're talking about. I didn't watch any Fox News last night. I can guarantee you, you barely heard the words Bill Taylor, but you heard all about Matt Gaetz.
I'm gathered here with dozens of my congressional colleagues underground in the basement of the Capitol, because if behind those doors they intend to overturn the results of an American presidential election, we want to know what's going on.
Jesus Christ.
Now, as you can tell, he's in a cave, in a dark dungeon. This just happens to be the lower floor of the, there's probably 1 or 2 floors lower than that. But he's talking about it as being a coup, as opposed to an impeachment. The words impeachment show up in the Constitution. And I think to a certain extent, what they're trying to do, did you see that Major League Baseball umpire who had to, who deleted his tweet? I'm buying an AR-15 if you're going to try and get rid of my president.
Yep.
MAGA, whatever it is, Civil War.
Did you see that Matt Gaetz broke laws by giving out faulty passes down to this lower level for HBO cameramen for a show he's filming?
Oh, he's doing this
he
for
gave
the
them
Axios show?
expired. They gave him expired passes.
Yeah.
Of course. And let's make sure that that Mike Allen can get down here with us, guys. We're fighting for democracy.
This is a big deal.
So embarrassing.
All right, so here's where this is going, I think, at this point. The Democrats are just going to figure out the details of how they're going to impeach Donald Trump. The timing, how many different articles there's going to be. I mean, they're planning on taking a vote before the Christmas holidays. I wouldn't count on it, because they're gonna roll out public testimony in November, and I think they're going to begin to realize that it is educating the American public. We've now hit 55% on the latest poll on impeachment, and it's going to get larger. And understand what the name of the game here is: pressure on 5 senators, Republican senators. Susan Collins, Cory Gardner, McAdams in Arizona. Is that her name? I say McMatt.
McSally.
What is it? Yeah, Sally McAdams. Joni Ernst. And I think to a certain extent Tom Tillis, although he supposedly said the other day, like, impeachment's completely out of the question.
I have to say,
and the question
also
is,
on the one in Arizona, you're going to have to strategize very closely with, oh my God, I'm entirely forgetting her name. Who's the other senator from Arizona?
Kristen Sinema.
Because I would say if there's any Democrats that could flip in the other direction, she'd be right up there with Manchin. That's like, I think, a state wrinkle right there.
It's possible. I think it's just highly doubtful at this point. But Manchin is certainly one to watch.
Oh,
so
Manchin, I don't think he will not vote for it. I would be very confident of that. But Sinema, I would watch.
I don't know, but those two are far less reluctant to because they're not up for re-election. Those two are far less reluctant to vote for impeachment, or to make that vote, than those other 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question is it automatic? Should we assume that if impeachment passes in the House, if the articles of impeachment are sent to the Senate, should we assume that it's automatic that they're going to be taken up by Mitch McConnell and there's actually going to be a vote? Here's Mitch McConnell from a press conference. I haven't seen this clip, but I heard him on Fox saying something that I think is similar, but let's listen to what he says here.
There have been a number of Republicans who have said that if an impeachment trial happens in the Senate, you could quickly bring up a vote to dismiss any kind of impeachment charges. Would you think about doing that, or would you let the trial go all the way through into a vote on conviction?
Well, it won't be up to me. Unlike other procedures in the Senate, the majority leader does not really have ball control here. When it comes over from the House, we have to take it up, as I think you've learned. Without consent, we're on it 6 days a week. The rule even says when we turn to it. And the Chief Justice is in the chair and rules on all the motions. They can be overturned by a vote, but I don't see anybody in all of this, myself or others, who would be able to control the process. At some point, it ends. With the Clinton impeachment, it went on for 2 months. I have no idea how long this will go on. What I can tell you for sure is if the House impeaches, we will be on it. It will displace everything else, and we'll be on it until we finish.
For the quick dismissal?
There are all kinds of potentials, and we don't have it yet. When we do, we'll have to come to grips with how long we're going to stay on it. In the Clinton impeachment proceeding, Senator Lott and Senator Daschle did agree to a process that kind of laid out how it would be handled. If this were to come over from the House, I'm sure Senator Schumer and I would sit down and discuss coming to an agreement on a process. That was voted on, and in the Clinton impeachment, it was passed 100-0. So there was broad agreement on how to handle it. But the
Sam?
Yeah.
That's it.
There's a lot of wiggle room in there. I'm not in control of it. There was negotiations last time. It's all, and now he's saying the other night on Fox News, he's saying Senate rules. Now, nowhere in what he said there, nowhere in what he said on Fox News was the Constitution. Right? I mean, this is a constitutionally mandated, it's the easiest answer. Constitution says Senate takes it up. We'll take it up. How it goes, I don't know. But he's not bringing that up, which leads me to believe that he is trying to at least build a predicate that this is out of his hands. It's a function of Senate rules. The only thing is that Senate rules can be voted on and changed. And he's got 5 members of his caucus that he does not want to take that vote. Now, he's also covering his ass on the other side by saying, like, I'm not, I can't, there's nothing I can do. Because they are in an incredibly difficult situation. Because you have 35% of the country that will never, ever, there is no amount of evidence, and we've been saying this since day one, will justify impeachment of Donald Trump in their eyes. Short of him, the video of him running naked across the lawn chasing that the lawnmower kid.
The lawnmower kid.